The Evaporation Experiment.
All right, grade twos, it's time to check our evaporation experiment and see what happened since last week. Now, I want to say thank you to everybody who solved those math questions and figured out how much water was in each container last week. You guys did an excellent job with those big numbers. So I took the answers that you found and I put them on our graph showing the results of our experiment. So you can see that our pink bars represent the covered container, and it didn't change from the first week till last week. There was still 250 milliliters of water in that container, but the uncovered container, that's the green bars, it went down, showing that there's less water, that there was less water in the container last week. There was about 180 milliliters of water in the container last week. So we're going to measure the water now and see how much is in each container this week. So we'll start with our covered container. I'm going to pour the water in. Before I do that, I'll give you let you look at the container and see if you can make any guesses about whether you think there's the same amount of water in there or less water. So I'm going to pour it into my measuring cup again and use that special measuring tool, my graduated cylinder, to help me measure really accurately how much water is in there. Add a little bit too much. All right, so there's 100 milliliters of water. There's 200 milliliters of water. Ooh, there's a tiny bit less this week. So I would say that's about 48 milliliters of water. Interesting. So it looks like a very little amount of water has evaporated from our covered container. Very interesting. So now we're going to measure how much water is left in our uncovered container. Pour it into the measuring cup and then into that graduated cylinder. Ooh. A little bit too much. So there's 100 milliliters of water. And another about 15 milliliters of water.
The results.
Okay, so I've recorded our measurements for this week. In the covered container, we have 100 milliliters plus 100 milliliters plus 48 milliliters. So I wonder if you can tell me how many milliliters of water altogether are in the covered container. And in the uncovered container, we had 100 milliliters plus 15 milliliters. So I'd love for you to try and figure out how much water is left in the uncovered container as well.